I want to talk to you like it's just you and me in a quiet room for a minute. Something is shifting in your life right now. You might not have language for it yet, but you can feel it. Little things are different. Tiny coincidences. Moments that on the surface don't seem important, but they stick with you. They're not random. They're not small. They're signals. It's like life is placing markers on your path, one by one, pointing you towards something much bigger that hasn't fully revealed itself yet. Imagine walking outside and noticing that all of a sudden, everything goes quiet. The air feels different. Nothing dramatic has happened yet, but you know something is building. That's where you are right now. You're in the quiet right before your own life storms forward in your favor. You're standing right at the edge of a version of you that you haven't fully stepped into yet. Most people never see this for what it is. They're buried in routine, in stress, in old stories about how things always go wrong for them. They're so used to expecting letdowns that they miss the signs life is sending that say, get ready, I'm lining things up for you. But you're not most people. You wouldn't be listening to this right now if you were. The fact that you're here at this exact moment tells me something about you. A part of you already knows something is happening. You're starting to see a pattern. What I'm talking about with you isn't fantasy. It isn't fluffy, just think positive talk. This comes from watching people hit turning points in their lives, from paying attention to what shows up right before everything changes. There are patterns, there are stages, and once you see them, you can't unsee them. You've heard phrases like right place, right time. Luck favors the prepared mind. Overnight success that took years. But nobody really breaks down what happens in the lead up. The specific chain of events that almost always shows up before a major breakthrough. The signs that don't mean maybe, they mean it's on its way. Think back for a moment. Remember the last time something really good finally came through for you. Something you'd been working towards, hoping for, maybe even praying for. If you look back at the days and weeks leading up to that moment, you'll probably notice there were hints. A conversation, a chance encounter, an idea that wouldn't leave you alone, a door that closed that later made sense. At the time, maybe you brushed those off, but they were part of the buildup. And that's what's happening again right now. Before a significant breakthrough in your life, there's usually a set of stages. Let me walk you through them so you can recognize where you are. Phase one, the unraveling. First, things start to come apart. Not always in some huge dramatic explosion, more like a slow, steady shedding. People who really don't fit your future quietly drift away. Opportunities that once felt essential suddenly don't feel right anymore. Ways of thinking that used to feel comfortable now feel too tight, like clothes you've outgrown. It can feel unsettling. You might look around and think, why is everything I was holding on to slipping out of my hands? But this isn't punishment. This isn't you failing. This is clearing. Life is making space for what's coming next. Most people panic here. They cling to what is dissolving. They take the unraveling as proof that they're going backwards, when in reality, it's often proof they're finally moving forward. Phase 2. The volume turns up. Then comes the intensifying. Everything starts to feel a little louder inside you. Your emotions feel more real and raw. Your gut feelings get sharper. Simple conversations feel strangely loaded with meaning. Little moments feel like they're trying to tell you something. You might have a vivid dream that stays with you all day long. Wake up with answers to problems you didn't even consciously sit down to solve. Meet someone randomly who says exactly what you needed to hear. Stumble onto a video, a book, or a sentence that feels like it was meant for you. You're not overthinking. You're not too sensitive. What's happening is that your awareness is expanding to match the size of what's trying to show up in your life. These aren't coincidences. They're confirmations. They're quiet nods saying, keep going, you're aligned. Then phase 3, little glimpses of what's coming. Next, you start to get previews. Not the full movie, just trailers. A small win in an area that used to feel blocked. A person finally noticing your effort or your talent. A moment where everything suddenly clicks and you can see how it could all work. These glimpses aren't the final destination. They're there to stretch your capacity to receive more. Because big breakthroughs don't only require different circumstances, they require a different you. The version of you before the breakthrough often doesn't have the mindset, the habits, the emotional strength to sustain what's on the other side. So life gives you small tastes first to let you adjust, to let you grow into it. Phase 4, the test. Then comes the part that separates people who actually break through from the ones who circle around the same mountain for years. There's almost always a test. Not a school style test with clear questions and multiple choice answers. More like a moment or situation that asks, have you really changed? Or are you going to react like the old you? It might not look spiritual or important on the surface at all, but it will call for the exact qualities you've been developing. Courage when hiding would feel easier. Trust when the logical thing would be to give up. Patience when every part of you wants to rush. Honesty when it would be smoother to pretend. Most people don't fail this test because they're weak or unworthy. They miss it because they don't recognize that it is a test. They just see another obstacle, another delay, another reason to doubt. But the people who understand the pattern, who see, wait, this is that final check, step into it differently. They respond as the future version of themselves, not the old ones. And that's when the ground starts to move. Phase 5, the chain reaction. After that, something powerful tends to happen. Things start to move all at once. Not just in one area of life, but in several. New doors open, old ideas suddenly gain traction. People reach out, circumstances line up in ways you couldn't have scripted. It can feel like everything is speeding up, like life is suddenly saying yes repeatedly. But the most important part of this phase isn't that your outer world looks different, it's that you do. You're not chasing in the same way. You're not begging life to give you a chance. You begin to operate from a deeper sense of, I belong here. This is allowed for me. You start making decisions from confidence instead of desperation, from possibility instead of fear, from sufficiency instead of lack. That's the real win. Now, if as you're listening to this, you're thinking, wait, I've been feeling this unraveling. I've been noticing these weird coincidences. I have been getting those little previews. Then I want you to really hear this. You're not just accidentally bumping into these words. You're encountering them exactly when you're supposed to. This is part of your own chain reaction unfolding. But there's another side to this process that almost no one warned you about. The pushback right before things click. I call it the final resistance. That's the moment when your old identity makes one last effort to keep you where you've always been. It can show up as doubt that feels more convincing than ever. Thoughts like, maybe I've just been fooling myself. The urge to be realistic and shrink your vision. A strong pull toward old habits, old environments, old versions of you. You'll find that your mind making You'll find your mind making very rational sounding arguments for why you should stop, settle, or turn back, often right as you're closest to a major shift. People around you might react too. Some may feel uncomfortable with your growth without fully knowing why. Others might unintentionally pull you towards your old patterns because that's the version of you they are used to. They're not necessarily trying to harm you, they're just responding to your change. Your evolution can quietly expose their stagnation. And sometimes, without meaning to, people try to keep you at the level that feels safe and familiar to them. This is where many people bow out. When the pressure feels intense, the familiar feels safer than the unknown. The story of maybe this kind of success isn't meant for someone like me starts sounding true. They step back, not realizing they were days, weeks, or one brave decision away from a breakthrough. But you're still here. You didn't click away. You didn't mentally check out. That alone tells me that you're not just most people. You've already walked through too many stages to pretend this is all random. A deeper part of you recognizes something in what I'm saying. It feels like your own truth being reflected back at you. So let's talk about how to move through this final resistance. First, expect it. When doubt spikes, when fear gets louder, when it feels like life is testing you from all sides, don't automatically assume you're off track. Very often, resistance is loudest right before the shift. Because the version of you that doesn't survive this breakthrough is fighting for its life. Second, remember where it's really coming from. It's not some outside force trying to crush you. It's a protective part of you that's scared. Scared of change, scared of expansion, scared of being seen in a new way. It's trying to keep you safe by keeping you the same. Once you recognize that, you don't have to demonize or obey it. You can thank it and still move past it. Third, use it as fuel. Every doubt, every what if this doesn't work, every who do you think you are, you can flip that. The more intense the resistance feels, the more you can let it remind you of how meaningful this next chapter really is. The pressure you feel is often a measure of the size of what's trying to be born through you. There's one more thing that tends to happen in this final stretch. Time starts to feel strange. Days feel long, weeks feel heavy, yet some moments feel outside of time altogether. It can feel like you're living between two versions of your life. The you who is still processing, the you who has already crossed the threshold. That's not your imagination. When you're on the edge of a major transition, your mind and nervous system are trying to adjust. You're rehearsing who you're becoming even before it's fully visible outside. You're learning how to feel at home in success rather than uncomfortable in it. You're practicing seeing yourself as someone who naturally attracts breakthroughs instead of someone who has to claw for every small win. You are literally updating your identity. During this time, you may notice conversations that feel strangely meant for you. Encounters with people who show up at the exact right moment. Situations that feel too tailored to be random. Again, not coincidence, confirmation. You're being shown over and over you're not alone in this. You're on the right path. Keep going. And as you step deeper into this, you'll notice something else. You'll start to become a magnet for other people who are also on the edge of change. New people begin to enter your life. People who want to grow. People who support your evolution instead of resenting it. People who are excited that you're rising because they're rising too. Your conversations start to change. Less complaining, more solutions. Less gossip, more vision. Less why me, and more what can I do from here. You'll hear yourself speaking from a place of quiet certainty you didn't know you had. You'll notice yourself making choices from clarity instead of from fear. That's your new identity taking the lead. This newer version of you that doesn't just hope things will work out, doesn't just wish for success, they expect alignment. Not in an entitled way, but in a grounded way that says, I'm willing to show up, grow, and live in integrity with who I am becoming. And from that place, good things are allowed to find me. So, if you're seeing these patterns in your own life right now, the unraveling, the intensity, the previews, the testing, the inner resistance, the strange sense that something big is building, I want you to really understand what this moment is. This isn't a rough spot. It's not just a weird season. This is the culmination of everything you've learned everything you've endured, everything you've been quietly growing into. None of it was random. The relationships that fell away, the closed doors that forced you to pivot, the nights you doubted yourself but kept going anyways, the times you were tempted to give up but didn't. All of that hardened your resistance, your resilience, clarified what matters to you, proved to you and to life itself that you're serious. Your challenges didn't disqualify you, they prepared you. Look at your life right now with honest eyes. The small alignments, the out of nowhere opportunities, the ideas that keep returning, the people showing up at the right time. These are not accidents, they're messages. Life is not just asking, do you want this? It's asking, are you willing to become the person who can hold this? Your breakthrough is not a fantasy. It's not some far off dream reserved for other people. It's already in motion. Closer than it feels, closer than your fear suggests. And as you listen to this, I want you to let one simple truth land. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not disqualified. You are in process. The signs are around you. The shift is within you. And if you keep choosing the person you are becoming over the person you've been, your breakthrough stops being a question of if and becomes a matter of when. Thanks for joining me. Please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you know when we put out new insights. And if you found anything of value, insightfulness, or anything that you thought helped you or could help somebody else, please share our channel around. Thanks. Have a great day.